Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I
get to that. The response has just been brutal, okay? Everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she came dressed up as the assassin that was walking up the stairs. Straight to jail, straight to jail. For questioning, at least, Erika. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode. Really.
Erika Kirk says she's done with the online games, and she's showing it by reportedly taking Candace Owens to court with a $10 million libel and defamation lawsuit. And now, the chatter is getting even louder because some people claim Candace's husband is over the drama and is allegedly siding with Erika's case. A lot of viewers are hoping this makes Candace step back and stop centering her brand around going after a grieving widow. But this is where things start to feel tense. For about 6 months, Candace has been pushing a hard line run at Erika, even building an investigative series around her. That part isn't really up for debate.
I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow.
Still, here's the tricky detail. Candace hasn't flat out accused Erika of harming her husband or causing his passing. What she's mostly done is pull from public records and public posts, then spin it into commentary and content, and that can be a tough hill to climb in a defamation case. So people are asking what the real goal is here. Is Erika genuinely chasing justice and trying to shut down what she sees as targeted smears, or is this also about pulling the spotlight back her way? Either way, Erika isn't acting polite with Candace anymore. They've been trading jabs for a while, and at times they acted like they could keep it respectful for Charlie. But that soft approach seemed to disappear after Erika got linked in online talk to attack connected to the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
We have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens. This is what got my husband killed.
Not long after that incident, Erika went on the Charlie show to address it, to share what she believes happened, and to clap back at the reactions swirling around her. And when it came to Candace, Erika didn't tiptoe. She said the internet is a big reason things feel so broken right now, because in her words, people have been coming at her nonstop for months.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I'm my husband. And the list goes on and on.
Erika even name-dropped D'Souza, saying his whiteface skit really hurt her. But what she said next is what made people freeze up, because Erika claimed Candace had repeatedly accused her of causing Charlie's passing. And the way Erika said it, you could tell that was the real point she'd been holding in all along. She spoke for around 9 minutes, but she barely touched the questions people actually had about her, Turning Point USA, or even the Correspondents' Dinner situation. She blasted the press, said they were treating her like she wasn't human, but somehow every single road led right back to Candace. That's when a lot of people started giving the whole thing a long look because it didn't come off like a calm explanation. It came off like Erika had a personal score to settle and wanted Candace dragged into the center of it. And let's keep it honest, Erika didn't just wake up and snap for no reason. Ever since Charlie passed, Candace Owens has been bouncing between different theories, and each one pulled more people into the mess. 1 minute it was talk about U.S. government involvement, then it shifted to Israel, then France. It was like the story kept changing, but the chaos stayed the same. And every time Candace spoke, the claims sounded heavier. The pressure didn't just land on Candace either. It started landing on people around Charlie, especially Turning Point USA and the circle closest to him.
You guys, straight to jail, straight to jail. For questioning, at least, Erika. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode. If the situations were reversed and there were this many verifiable lies that Charlie told regarding the assassination of his wife, Charlie would be in prison awaiting trial. And I actually agree with that assessment. We are way beyond coincidence. This is now a full-blown conspiracy.
She suggested some people were lying, betraying him, and even hinted at money being handled wrong behind the scenes. Once those kinds of accusations hit the air, It didn't take long before Erika's name got pulled into the storm, too. And when Candace talked about Erika, she didn't sugar.
Across the board, people are laughing, they're mocking it, they're saying it was, you're lying. And also, it's just weird. It was weird and it was awkward. And speaking of the lying, which, like I said, many people called out right away, as that person said, I've never made that statement on this podcast.
She oxy-treated. She framed Erika as someone you can't trust, someone hiding things, someone who needs to be looked into. And at one point, she even said Erika should be arrested and questioned in connection to Charlie's passing, which had people picking teams fast, way before anyone saw real proof. But then, Candace took it a step further, and that's when it started feeling personal. She rolled out that whole Bride of Chucky series and didn't just stick to the present-day drama. She went digging way back into Erika's past, talking about her upbringing, her family, and who she's been connected to over the years. Candace was basically painting Erika as someone shady and untrustworthy, accusing her of lying about her background and tossing out hints about ties to powerful men. She also floated insinuations about trafficking networks. And once claims like that hit the internet, they don't just vanish. People screenshot, repost, and remix it until it becomes its own monster. So, by the time Erika finally sat down and gave her statement, it wasn't about one comment or one moment anymore.
That she gives for people asking that question, why did you go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner? You literally just said you couldn't do your UGA commitment because there were credible threats and you couldn't trust the Secret Service to absolve them. Then you did an event with Trump, which relied upon the Secret Service. And then now you're doing another event and it's like a press event, right? That actually Charlie hated. He always made fun of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So why do you
It sounded like she felt she had a whole folder of reasons to come for Candace. But Candace wasn't about to let Erika's statement breathe for even a second. The moment clips started spreading, Candace jumped on Twitter and went right back in. She wrote, "Very uncomfortable to watch, painful prompter read, a speech clearly written by someone else, objectively terrible, so they will now pay for people to tell us otherwise. Also, of everything I've said about Erika, she chooses to respond to something I never said. They always lie. Charlie, they just shot Charlie."
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
And that last line made people pause because technically Candace never plainly said in one clean sentence that Erika was responsible for Charlie's passing. Not directly, not like that. But at the same time, with months of theories, side comments, and loaded insinuations swirling around, a lot of people felt like the message was being pushed without being stated outright. So when Erika finally said the accusation out loud, it came off like she was responding to the vibe Candace had been putting out this whole time. And Candace didn't meet her halfway at all. She went on her podcast and doubled down again, insisting she had never lied about Erika, not once. And by that point, you could tell Candace was turning this into a straight-up credibility.
That when she sat down with Caroline Levitt on stage at a Turning Point event, she says that she didn't read the headline, she doesn't care, she's completely removed. We've been told over and over again that she's just not aware of what's going on. Now she's saying, I actually went to this event because I needed to confront these journalists who day in and day out, I actually know their names, which is more than I can say. I actually don't know the names of all journalists who write articles about me. I don't care to learn about their lives. I actually virtually never give them statements. My PR isn't open.
Who's lying, who's telling the truth, and who can actually prove anything. Because saying defamation online is one thing, but proving someone is legally on the hook is a whole different situation. And that's where things started looking a little shaky for Erika. The second Candace pushed back like that, Erika's side didn't stay quiet. Almost right away, receipts started making the rounds. One screenshot in particular started spreading fast, and people claimed it showed Candace texting a former Turning Point USA employee right before that sit-down meeting with Erika. And remember, that meeting was supposed to be the moment both sides cleared the air. At least publicly, it was framed like they were going to talk it out, hear each other, and settle things privately. But that screenshot made it look like Candace was walking in with smoke, not peace. In the exchange, the employee asks Candace what she plans to say to Erika during the meeting, and Candace replies, "I'm asking everything." First question, "Why did you unalive your husband?" with crying emojis right after it. And the second that line hit the timeline, the whole mood shifted again. Because for Erika's supporters, that was the moment they felt they'd been waiting on. To them, it didn't matter if it was said like a joke or not. That kind of line, even tossed out casually, plugs straight into the narrative they believe Candace has been pushing for months. But Candace wasn't letting that sit either. She came right back and said people were twisting it and reaching. In her version, the emojis made it obvious it wasn't serious. It was sarcasm. And she basically argued that if the screenshot is the big gotcha Erika is relying on, then the case is weak before it even gets near a judge. Now, here's what really twisted the whole vibe up. Even with the heat rising and whispers that her own husband might be leaning toward Erika, Candace still didn't budge. She didn't delete anything, didn't tone it down, nothing. If anything, she came back even sharper and started throwing pointed questions at Erika, like why she was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in the first place. And Candace knew exactly what button she was pushing. Charlie had a long history of clowning the press and not rocking with that whole scene. So Candace leaned into that angle hard. The way she framed it, Erika showing up didn't match what Charlie was about, and she wanted people to notice that mismatch. Then Candace took it up another level. She called out what she saw as hypocrisy, saying Erika dragged journalists for recording during the attack, while someone connected to Turning Point USA's circle also recorded during the incident involving Charlie. That comparison got people talking fast because it made the whole situation feel messier than either side wanted, and Candace still wasn't done. She zoomed in on Erika's own words and basically said, "Make it make sense." Erika said she was staying above the noise, not reading headlines, focused on her family and the organization. Then also said she went to that dinner to confront the very journalist she supposedly wasn't paying attention to. Candace kept pressing that contradiction like it was the main crack in the story. By then, Candace was acting like the lawsuit didn't scare her at all. In her eyes, this didn't look like someone just protecting their name. It looked like a play to control the narrative and pull the attention back in her direction. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, subscribe to the Fame Spot channel, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one.